You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas, the voice of the people, voted best radio station for music 2 years in a row by the Dallas Observer.
Did you know that KNON podcasts all of its local talk shows? KNON has local talk, each show covering your community in its own unique way. So if you missed one of our great morning talk shows, you can go back and listen to it online. We keep the shows for 2 months so you can hear everything you have been missing out on. Visit KNON.org for more information about the KNON Morning Talk Shows podcast. Also available on iTunes.
Yo, what's up? I'm gonna kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like this? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Chicken from tea is simple and plain. This ain't no game.
We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We're here each and every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. We got a good show lined up for you this morning. Our special guest in the studio with us this morning is Dallas businessman, activist, you name it, Mr. Robert Pitre. In many ways, he's a philanthropist. He's done so much to help our youth in this community. We'll be hearing from him and later on, but get your pen and paper out. You'll be getting ready for Mr. Greg Barber. Will be coming on not too long from now with our Solution in Action Today job line. But there's a whole lot of things going on. I'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. We are wishing you having a joyous time this time of the year. And we're going to talk about some of those things this morning. But we have some announcements to make. We're still looking at hiring van drivers for the beginning of the new semester. And you can call us at 214-772-7614. Call us after 9 o'clock at 214-772-7614. Also, by way of announcements, we have the new Outstanding Gospel Singers of Fort Worth, Texas. They will be having a toy giveaway today at 4 p.m. The Guiding Light Church at 5209 Cottage Street there in the city of Fort Worth. Pastor Stovall Williams is presiding. No form of identification is needed. All children will be given a toy or gift, but must be accompanied by an adult. For more information, contact Mrs. Eleanor Davis at 817-535-8180. That's 817-535-8180. They're having a big toy giveaway. No ID needed. Just our child has to be accompanied by a dog. This is fantastic to get a toy giveaway today. Remember, let's get the address again. Make sure you get it down right. It's 5209 Cottage Street. This is at the Guiding Light Church here. They're in the city of Fort Worth, and Pastor Stovall Williams pastors that church. All right. A lot of things going on. Today. In African-American history, in 1943, W.E.B. Du Bois was the first black elected to the National Institute of Arts and Letters. Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. Well, he was also the first African-American to earn a doctorate from Harvard University. A lot of things, Dr. Du Bois. Very brilliant man. He always was a schism, though, between he and seemingly Booker T. Washington. One had one philosophy, the other one had another one. Say, stay separated, work the land, build your own self. That was Booker T. Washington. Du Bois said, build your mind, integrate, make yourselves brilliant, and you will excel here in America and the rest of the world. Two different philosophical views. And they carried on even into the 20th century. Dr. Joseph H. Jackson and Martin Luther King disagreed. Dr. Jackson said, no time to integrate. Let us first get ourselves together and then try to work with others. Dr. King said the time has come. The time is now for all Americans to live together, work together, play together. So, two different philosophies. I don't know. Well, we might even discuss some of those today. But it's just so much going on here in the city of Dallas that we need to get together, and we need to do things. We need to carry ourselves in a certain perspective. We need to. And we need to wake up. Not only physically this morning, wake up and get up, but we also need to wake up economically. We need to wake up socially. We need to even wake up morally. Definitely so. We need to wake up and see what's going on. Wake up and, smell the coffee early in the morning, because those that are running this city, they're up early before the cock crows. They're up scheming, doing things, putting things by us, having us voting against ourselves. I've never seen anything like it. Black people, just like poor whites, middle-class whites, vote against themselves. Black people vote against themselves when they uphold these particular bonds and different things that go on that the sharp cats from North Dallas put by us, and we go and support things that's not going to help us at all. Well, I'm glad to see Mr. Pitre here in the studio this morning, because he's going to get rich off a golf course they're putting out there. They're not going to even let him join the club, but he's going to get rich. I don't. You think any of us, Mr. Pitre, going to be able to join the club?
I don't think that we would benefit at all. I don't. They don't have caddies anymore. They have carts that you drive.
So we can't caddy anymore.
We don't have. And blacks is not in landscaping, so we won't get into those jobs. Mm-hmm. So I think.
But won't we just feel better knowing all those rich people out there by us and playing golf?
They say you should feel better. I don't, a lot of things that people understand. I don't understand myself.
But we support that kind of stuff.
We support that kind of stuff.
That's
what gets us in so much trouble. We support the wrong things. We support development that doesn't benefit us. It's on our backs, though, as taxpayers in this city. So they're
going to move to Byron Nelson, they say out there.
Well, they say that's kind of iffy too. They tell you what they want you to believe.
Yeah, but didn't they used to hold it at Oak Cliff Country Club? Didn't they once hold it there? I heard they once did.
I don't know.
Boy, that sure did make us rich, didn't it?
Yeah.
If they held it out there.
Yeah.
Well, it'll make y'all feel better if the big boys come out there.
Right. The word economic development, I think that we have to define what economic development is. Mm-hmm. They telling us that economic development is someone putting something close to your community. Economic development is when you're creating jobs and opportunity in your community. Mm-hmm. I often say when you get on Interstate 35 in the morning, all these people that's going north from our community, Oak Cliff, to other parts of this city for employment, until we create jobs in our community where people could go down the street 1 mile to work. You save money on in the wear and tear on your car, and just opportunity where money is flowing through your community, where people are working. See, it's an economic embargo against the black community in this city.
It's an economic embargo against the black community everywhere.
Right. Yeah, right. And see, if you can't go to banks, the banks are not going to loan a black businessman money. I've been a black businessman in this city for 40 years. My bank is outside of Dallas because the major banks are not going to loan me any money. It's not going to loan any other black businessman no money. So if you have some black business people out there that's able to go into these institutions and borrow money, I'd like for them to call too this morning, because I'd like to know.
You know what though? But Dallas used to be known, before the bust of the 80s, as the banking capital of the South.
Right. For white people, not for blacks.
But we wasn't in on that.
No, we wasn't in there.
You know, we couldn't go
right
down.
Now, a bank in our community is cashing our checks. And if you don't have an account at that bank and someone writes you a check, they're going to take $5 to $10 out of your check.
Just to cash your check.
Just to cash your check. And that's what banks are doing in our community, cashing checks.
Well, they'll loan you something for a car, won't they?
No, not anymore.
It stopped loaning us money for cars.
Stop loaning money for cars. Stop loaning money for cars.
What about churches?
They will finance churches because they know that they're going to get that dollar back, and they're going to make a deal with the preacher. Every collection that you get from your congregation has to come to our bank. And we want you to tell every member in your congregation that they need to open up an account in our bank. And we will finance your church. And see, that's what it is. I mean, so this money that you tithing saying is going to God is going to the bank. And then the bank take that same money and loan it to white people to develop their community. And our community continue to stay blighted.
Well, now, when we began to look at all of this, what is it? How come we don't have an African-American bank in Dallas?
Well, we had a bank in the early 80s, mid-80s.
Mid-80s.
Right. And that's when all the banks went under. We had one. See, when you look at all the banks in the state of Texas in the 80s, every Texas bank went out of business. Every Texas savings and loan went out of business because of the economy and that it was that good old boy lending.
Yeah, that good old boy lending. Yeah, the lending practices.
They made the economy the way it was because they took all the money and just blew it.
Yeah, they had a party. They had themselves a big party. Yeah. But I remember when the bank closed, that was the biggest story. Although Mercantile closed about the same time. Republic Bank shut down about the same. They didn't make big news stories. They weren't. You heard about it and they went on. But when Sunbelt.
Right. But all Sunbelt needed was $250,000 deposit to stay in business.
That's all they needed.
That's all they needed was.
They couldn't get $250,000.
They couldn't get $250,000 deposit.
Weren't there some preachers in this town that was against Sunbelt?
They blackballed them because the major banks that they were tied to told them that they could not go support Sunbelt Bank. They could not take their tithes and put it in Sunbelt Bank. If they did, they would have problems with their mortgage and their lending, because the preacher was the one that made all the deals about it. It was one preacher in this city. If another preacher needed a roof on his church, they had to go to him. And he approved the deal. He go to the bank, let Reverend so-and-so have a little money, and he gonna pay you back, got a good congregation, and all these people he gonna make sure his members put their money in your bank, and so let him have some money. And that's the way the deals was cut.
Have the black preacher been the villain in all of this? Is this a way of blaming somebody else really for all of our problems? What is it with the black preacher?
The black preacher had the opportunity because, when you're dealing with God and how to live a righteous life, and most of our people are good-natured people, and we was listening to the preacher to guide us through the racism and all the problems.
But did not the black preacher get us to this point? The black church?
Well, in many cases, the black church was the best institution that we had, but it's how to take us to pass the present conditions and where we were at the time. See, because when you got to dealing with economics, we got to talking about businesses, creating businesses, because after integration, after segregation, it was a whole new opportunity for us, and we had to know how to go in business for ourselves and compete, because many blacks say, well, hey, now I could go in the front door, don't have to go in the back door. I've been wanting to go in this place all my life. And they started going in the front door, and that's where they started doing business, and they stopped doing business in their community.
So our community basically folded when it comes to business.
Right.
Because we were withheld from for so long that as soon as we got the opportunity to go and do business with those who would not allow us to do business with them, and we end up destroying what we had.
That's right.
Now, was that good for us or bad for us?
That was bad for us.
Why did we do that?
Well, we wanted to, it's that dream that, hey, now I have the opportunity to go in this beautiful place that I always wanted to go in, and they always denied me from going in, and now I could go in there, and they taking my money like they take everybody else.
So if you want to attract us, just withhold it from us for a while, and then turn it loose, we'll run off and leave everything we got just to get that which has been withheld from us.
Right, but now look at the consequences now. Look at the consequences. Look where we are now. We have few businesses in our community, and then we didn't get the support back. See, the only thing that white people buy from us is our barbecue. See, they'll come cross town and buy barbecue from us, but economically, they're not spending their dollars with us. And then when we stopped spending dollars with ourselves, then our community became blighted.
Why is black life so easily put aside and put down and say it's basically worthless? Why is black life like that?
Well, we're good natured. We have been a good natured.
Yeah, but that doesn't dictate into anything good.
Well, we allow a lot of things to happen. See, we will forgive others before we forgive ourselves. We would look at and respect the success of others before we respect the success of each other.
Okay, now case in point, I'm going there. I'm going to go there with this. Had that been 20 black children killed and 6 black adults killed, well, 7 really, and 1 committed suicide, would it be this much outcry in America?
No. But
would it be any outcry in America?
Well, it would be some.
You think so?
It would be some.
But as of this date, right now.
But they dying. Blacks are dying every day. When 32 people are dying in America from homicide every day, and the majority of those people are black. See, when you look at, I think in the last 30 days in Chicago, I think 18 people have died in Chicago.
Well, as of today, 183 people under 18 in Chicago has been shot and killed this year. Under 18, 183.
Right.
Why is that not have been an outcry?
But we're the ones that's supposed to start the outcry. See, white people don't understand
Do we have major
detail.
Networks?
Right.
Do we have major networks? Basically, a lot of the information that our people get is basically from black radio talk shows, basically, that really touch our community. ABC, CBS, NBC, they're not going to cover it.
Right, but it's nobody out talking about, now I'm not going to say nobody, but there are people that talking about the real problem that black people are facing in America.
Yeah,
See,
I tell you what, we just hang on to that thing. Hang on to that thought. Right. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back. And you can call us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. We'll be right back.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Our special guest this morning, Mr. Robert Pitre, Dallas businessman, philanthropist, and all. And also, we have Annie Litt producing and Brother Dockery filming. And you can catch us on YouTube. We're around 8 o'clock. You're going to hear from him. He's going to tell you how to pick us up on YouTube. But right now, let's turn aside and go to our Solution in Action Today job line with Mr. Greg Barber. All righty. Ready? Good morning, Greg. Is Greg there? Has Greg gone back to sleep? Greg, you falling asleep?
Hello.
All right. Yeah, wake up. All right. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Yeah, fine. Are there any jobs out there?
There are some jobs out there this morning on our Solutions and Actions Today job line about every Saturday morning. Is there an echo, Reverend Barnett?
Yes, it is. A big one.
Let me, I'm going to try another. Is there still one?
Yes, it's still one.
Well, let me call back in. I'm going to try another line.
All right, switch one over, okay?
All right.
All right. He's going to call us back in just a second at our Solution in Action Today job line, and we'll try to make sure you get gainfully employed so you can go start paying some of these bills back, some of those bills back that you made during the holidays. And they tell me you pay bills almost up until October, some of you, and just get out of just long enough to go back into a debt next week. All right, Greg, you got another one. Let's see how you sound now.
All right, Reverend Barnett.
That's a whole lot better.
Okay.
Yeah.
This morning, SAT job line, that's Solutions and Actions Today job line, brought to you every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. during Church Information and Open Forum here on KNON 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have the Transportation Security Authority is looking for transportation security officers. They're asking you to apply online at www.tsajob.tsa.dhs.gov. Or number for inquiry is 877-872-7990. Once again, that number for inquiry is 877-872-7990. Pitney Bowes is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.pb.com/careers with an S. Once again, that web address is www.pb.com/careers with an S. Liberty National Insurance looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.lnicareers.com. Once again, that web address is www.lnlcareers.com. Uline is looking for warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.uline.com. Once again, that web address is www.uline.com. Ernst & Young is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.ey.com/us/en/careers. Once again, that Ernst & Young is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.ey.com. If you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back into mainstream society and needs assistance for job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back into mainstream society and need assistance for job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let's remember Jesus is the reason for the season. That is, we should think of others before we think of ourselves. This is a season of giving. It is better receive. Let me elaborate on that just a little bit. That is, if you have it to give, you're in pretty good shape. But if you're on that need side, think about that. It is better to give than receive. And with that, we bring our SAT job line to a close.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Great job as always. Thank you, Mr. Greg Barber with our Solution Action Today job line. And if you'd like to get that job line, if you could not hear it clearly, if you couldn't hear it, just pick us up on email at Clint, KNON, at sbcglobal.net. Clint, KNON, at sbcglobal.net. Get it, and we can get you that job line. If you could not hear it clearly this morning, that's one way of getting the job line. All right, Mr. Pitre, you were saying what?
Well, Rev, we talked during the break, so...
You forgot what you were saying, okay.
We were talking...
Well, it must have not been that important.
What I was going to say, how racism affects, and most people of other races don't understand the racism that blacks go through in America and in Dallas, Texas. You know, like I have friends from other parts of the country. They don't face as much racism as we do here.
You don't think so?
In Dallas, Texas. This is what they say. Yeah, this is what they say.
Man, I see it everywhere.
Well, it's everywhere.
Everywhere I go. Basically, much of the same thing is going down. Lending institutions are not just, beating a path to our doors. We still have problems. But there are some cities that have a more progressive pulpit than Dallas.
Right.
Dallas pulpit is not nearly as aggressive as it should be, or progressive as it should be. Great preachers here, but the message should be broadened and expanded, and it's right there in the Bible. They read it, but sometimes the brother haven't thought about really the words he's reading. He hadn't really thought about
Well,
that.
we're going to have to, like Moses opened up the Red Sea, we're going to have to open up the Trinity River. We could get these preachers to open up the Trinity River where economic development.
But what about the African American businessman? Is he pulling his weight? Is the Black Chamber pulling their weight? What are they doing?
Well, the Black Chamber is more, a social organization. They do banquets and they do things, and they do a little business, but I mean they don't deal with the real economic problems that's facing our people. And we have so few businesses. We don't have a lot of black businesses in this city.
We got some, but not nearly what we should have.
Right.
Nowhere close. But when you handle $1.1 trillion that we handle, that they admit we handle in America, you probably can double it if you they really told the truth and get our underground economy and everything else. Probably $2 trillion wouldn't be out of the question.
We have some real issues as a people. Right now, we have some real issues. I mean, we can't just blame our total issues on other people. You understand?
No.
Because we could take what we have right now as a people in Dallas, Texas, all over America and make it work. But see, we're suffering from, it's kind of like when I was on the way over here, I was thinking, if you get the fastest sprinter in the world and you put me on the 60-yard line and we running 100 yards, I'm going to beat him every time.
I don't know. Old Boat might get you.
I don't think he can beat me. I'm beat him. I think I can beat him.
Robert, you're over 60. I don't know. Boat might catch you.
I don't think he catch you. I don't think he catch you. I think you can wake me up any time in the morning.
Nah.
You give me 60 yards.
Yeah,
I'm gonna beat him.
That's a heck of an advantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat him every time.
Yeah. But see, each generation have to start from square one.
Yeah, but
we don't leave wealth behind for the next generation.
That's right. We don't. But we need knowledge. See, our young people need knowledge because our young people is falling into the same traps that their parents and grandparents has fallen into. So knowledge is the key.
But see, I'm working on this thing with putting seniors to work.
Right.
Back to work.
Right.
To real work now.
Right.
Educating young black people. See, our wealthiest group that we have, the most educated group that we have, the one who has trade skills, the greatest generation African Americans have right now are basically African American retiree age people.
Right.
We went to school.
Right.
We finished high school. Many of us finished college. We have skills, and some of them are just sitting around, doing nothing but drawing money, having a good time,
right.
and instead of going back and reaching and getting the young people, we need to be involving ourselves with our youth. They don't know anything about brick masonry.
Right.
They can't tie steel and construction.
Never seen it.
The things that we did growing up and we learned that we took for granted, thinking every American young man learned these basic skills, which black young men
learn.
You had to learn to survive.
You had to learn it. You know,
these kids now know nothing about it.
Right.
They don't. All right. Let's say white America has a change of heart, and everybody says, "All right, come on, young black fellas, I got some jobs for you." Could they do it?
No. They're not prepared.
We're in a heck of a shape.
They're not prepared.
We're in bad shape.
You have to see
older blacks reach back and get our children. We're not going anywhere.
Right. But it's going to take some time, and it's going to take knowledge.
We don't have a whole lot of time because we're going down fast.
Right. But our biggest problem that we have become too selfish and too ignorant. You know, and that if we could overcome.
We used to didn't act like this, man.
Right.
We used to didn't act like that. I tell you what, 972-647-1893. That's the number to call. Give us a call, 972-647-1893. Let's go to Reverend Moss. Ready? Good morning, Reverend Moss.
Good morning there, preacher. How you doing?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
Yeah, I'm blessed this morning.
Great.
Yeah, I'm just listening to this conversation here.
Mm-hmm.
You remember back in the day when you ride down the street, you would see mostly all black guys on construction?
Everywhere you go, that was our job.
So, but I went riding the other day, and I didn't see nobody on the job but Hispanic people.
Well, that's the way it's done. It was done like that, and especially came on strong in the 80s when they lowered the wages.
Yeah,
that was see, brick masonry was a skilled job then, and you worked as an apprentice under other people for years before you could really be turned loose on a job. But they brought them in. That job, and even in the 80s, was paying about $22 an hour. They cut it down to about $7 an hour, and the brothers walked off and said they wasn't going to do that type of hard work, roofing and all of this on top of
But what did they go to? What did they go to? To the penitentiary.
Yeah.
You know, and let me say this here. I went into a store that they cashed checks. Now, when I pulled my car up, there was a African-American young man standing in front of the place asking for quarters. I went into the place and got behind these Hispanics, and they was cashing checks for $900 to $1,200.
Yeah. Now, 1 week's work.
Right. Now, that's not the Hispanics' fault. That's our fault.
That's our fault.
Right.
And I'll tell you something else.
And see, the Hispanics, I respect what they're doing. They're teaching their young trades. They teaching their young how to make money, how to save money, and spend their money in their community. You know,
That's
if
right.
they go back to Mexico and buy boots and shirts and clothes, and they help each other. They many of them could live in the same house together and support each other. So I have a great amount of respect for Hispanics.
I do too.
Right.
I do too. I think they're doing a good thing.
Right.
We can't blame them.
Right.
Our young men is lacking of education. Most of them don't want to go to school, and the education is gone for most of them.
But gentlemen, to both of y'all, y'all was saying something that used to be. Most boys back in the day, even if you didn't have one, you had an uncle.
That's right.
You had a cousin, a grandfather,
That's right.
somebody to really. I just lay it out to put foot in your behind if you didn't do right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You
Let me
used to have that.
let me tell this story.
Nowadays, you better not touch my baby.
Right.
That's right.
And now I'll kill you if you touch my baby. And you're making my baby sorry as
Right,
all
so
get
that's-
out. So, you know, we're raising pretty men now.
Right.
And
Let me-
hard-working women.
Let me tell this story. My uncle, when I was about 12 years old, came and picked me up. We lived in the projects. And my grandfather had an old building, and it was a vacant lot next to my grandfather's building. And my uncle said that my grandfather gave him this lot. And he was tearing down this building, and he wanted me to take the nails out of the 2x4s and the 2x6s and help clean the bricks. And my uncle was telling me that he was going to build a house on this vacant lot out of this lumber and brick. My Uncle built one of the nicest homes in Beaumont, Texas, right there on that lot. So I had the opportunity to see that. But now what uncles is telling their nephews today in the black community, boy, if you go to the penitentiary, this is what you got to do, and this is how you got to do it. If you're going to do it that way, they're going to make a sissy out of you. Now, my uncle showed me how to take used lumber and used bricks and build a new home. But now these uncles today is telling them what you have to deal with when you go to the penitentiary. Why you want to tell him about the penitentiary and he's free?
Yeah, that's right. You know, I'm gonna get off in a minute, but
I think
you know, you're probably wearing some of those clothes that I pulled cotton for years ago.
Well, no, you didn't pull much cotton. I came from the Brazos Bottom, Brazos Valley.
Oh yes,
Well,
I did.
well, they have real cotton. I think I still have some dirt on my hands from
Yeah,
55 years ago. I got dirt on my hands.
It made a man out of you, also. It made a man out of you. Work don't hurt nobody. Work don't hurt
No,
nobody.
I don't. No, I don't.
All right, thank you, preacher. All right. I tell you what. Thank you. You can call us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Those who are on the line, just hang on. We got to take a short break, and we'll be back in just one moment.
If you are the low-income parent or guardian of children in need of child care, there are programs available in the area that may be just right for you and your kids. Texas Workforce Commission offers solutions for families in need of assistance. Find them on the web at twc.state.tx.us. Click on Programs and Services in the blue bar at the bottom of the page to find out if you are eligible. 211 Texas, a program of the Texas Health and Human Services Commission, also offers child care provider referrals for families seeking subsidized child care. Contact them at 211texas.org or dial 211. If dialing 211 directly doesn't work on your telephone, you can call 877-541-7905.
Don't be a Scrooge. Give the blues to the music lover on your list.
KNON has the perfect CD or LP for you. Texas Blues Radio, Volume 5.
Texas Blues Radio, Volume 5 features acoustic blues, instrumental blues, party songs, somebody done somebody wrong songs.
Baby Got a Good Thing songs, six-pack and double-back songs.
Gumbo, jive, T-bone, and hip-shaking songs from a fine selection of great Texas blues artists.
So do right by the blues and give some Texas blues this year.
Texas Blues Radio, Volume 5 CD is available at KNON.org, Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music.
Download a copy at cdbaby.com.
The LP is only available at Forever Young Records.
All proceeds are a gift to KNON.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum, and our special guest this morning is Mr. Robert Pitre, and Annie Oakley is here in the studio producing the program this morning. All righty. And you can call us at 972-647-1893. We'd love to hear from your comments this morning. All right. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Jack. All righty. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
I am doing well. Mr. Pitre, this is Jack. I met you last night. How you doing?
That's great.
Awesome. Real engaging conversation, gentlemen. I guess I just have a comment about the black church. And if the black church should be black America's salvation anymore with regard to economics. You know, historically, it seems they've drug their feet on this issue. And I guess my question is, you know, should we continue to look to the black church to develop jobs and to create the kind of economics that we need to pull ourselves out of the situation that we're in?
Well, Mr. Pitre's talking.
Well, no, I don't think that we should look at the black church. We should look at the black business men and women to go to the black church and wake up the black people in the church and create opportunities and give our people knowledge. See, we have to have knowledge of ourselves. We don't have the knowledge of self to understand what it takes to get out of the hole that we're in. And see, we need leadership, and the politicians is not being true leaders to us at this time. And the preacher, the preacher has to have knowledge of how to get us out of this situation. You know, when you tell us just to pray and everything gonna be all right, no, you're gonna have to have prayer and work, and you're gonna have to have knowledge of how to get out of this situation. And see, that's where leadership, we got to have a different type of leadership.
But now, let's be honest. The preacher comes from the same community as his parishioners, been raised under the same type of teaching and had the same thinking. You have a younger preacher today that don't realize that once upon a time African Americans provided jobs for other African Americans right there in their community. They have no knowledge of having seen African Americans own grocery stores, shoe shops, and whatever it takes to run a community. We used to have it right there, and the people that ran that thing looked like us. Today, you can just have a little mom and pop grocery store, and there'll be some people from somewhere else across the water selling you little mom and pop items right there in your neighborhood, something that we should be doing. But now, again, I go back to our African American seniors who saw everything that I spoke of, who know about it, and many have the finance, and just about all have the wisdom and the knowledge of how to run businesses and do different things and teach our young. That's where the separation is, those who are retired versus those who are just trying to move forward in our society. Until seniors get it together and go back to our young, we will not get anywhere.
Right. Let me say this here. Now, in the past, when you look at the past, when preachers build black churches, blacks build the church. Oh yeah. Now we building mega churches, and you
don't see one African American.
You don't see one African American doing anything to build these churches. So I mean, the economics of the church has failed in the hands of other people. Mm-hmm. You know, and then when you look at, you had this big old note. You know, I remember one preacher paid off a $42 million note on his church. $42 million. Give me access to $42 million, and I bet you every black in Dallas will have a job that's qualified to work.
All right. All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I love the opportunity to talk about another plan with you guys that exists at some point in time.
Well,
thank you for your time.
We will be meeting.
All right.
Okay. All right. All right.
Take care.
Thank you. That clears the line, 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. All right, let's go start. I can start all over again. Is that John? All righty. Good morning, John.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you this morning?
I'm all right. Love your program.
Thank you.
I am a business owner, construction company owner up here in North Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot get bus for me. I mean, for the life of me.
John, do you have your radio on?
No, it's...
Well, okay, go right here. We're getting some real bad feedback. At least I am in my headset. All right, go right ahead.
Yeah, my dream was to start my company, which I did 18 years ago, and to have both work for me. And just
John, would you do me a favor? Hang up and call back. Try to do it real fast so you can get back in, or try to get back in on that line. Okay. Just hang up and call back. We got it because we have a terrible connection. All righty? All righty. Tell you what, let's go to Evangelist Dunbar. All righty. Good morning, Evangelist.
Good morning. How you doing?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
I'm blessed in the Lord. How about yourself?
Doing fine. Doing fine.
Okay. I'm enjoying the program thus far.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yes, sir. I am.
Yes. You have a comment?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
What I've had a chance to notice is that the African Americans, we have not developed an economic understanding. Are you still on the line?
No, we're listening to you.
We're waiting for the knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you sit back and you look at the times we were under bondage, we were not only under physical bondage, we were under a mental bondage. And under this mental bondage, we hadn't had the access and the understanding that this country is supposed to be the country of the free, the brave. And we've always worked for somebody else and not ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And on that issue is that we have allowed ourselves to be set back in the mindset of an economic development. When you see the Hispanics, you see them taking old buildings that we've allowed to be deteriorated, and they're replenishing them, and they're taking the old material that they have from the jobs that they work,
True.
and they're rebuilding the community, and they're doing it as one.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, but now we once had a fairly thriving black business community once upon a time.
That is so true.
Yeah, we once had that, and like I'm saying, those who are seniors and retired now, they saw it. They know it.
Yes. Yes.
Now, they might pretend that they've forgotten, which I know is a lie. We can go back and redevelop our community. And I tell you what, there were certain things that we had and certain things that we could do. Case in point, I was in St. Louis in November. You got some African American restaurants that you can't get into. White people do business there. White people stand in line all out of the door. Yeah, one of them comes on the Ophir network called Sweetie Pies. That upper crust.
Okay.
Yes. You can't get it because guess what? It is immaculate. It's a beautiful place. It's run well. People treat you so nice there, everybody, and the food is fantastic. But when we don't go and grasp what we do so well, who can beat us cooking? Nobody.
Right.
Nobody can cook like us. So many things that we can do. We are business people. We have great business minds. And I tell you what, we have some brilliant black women, too, that can really know how to balance a book, because many times she had to take care of 5, 6 children all by herself and making a very, very small menial paycheck, but she would take care of a family, and people did it back then, large families. So there are things that we have, just the basic skills that we shouldn't have forgotten, that we could do that could really uplift our people if we only had the will to do it.
But it takes mind and money. It takes mind and money
It takes mind and money.
Right. And you know, you could take the best cook could write a recipe, and we could read the recipe, and we could make whatever the food is and taste just like the cook. With the right recipe.
Nobody can beat us cooking.
Right. But we didn't give up. We didn't give up the recipe.
Yeah. Well,
we didn't.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Now here's an example. You're right. We are the most innovative people, but we tend not to have grasped the business aspect of what we have. Let's go and say, for instance, the time that we were given the head, the feet, the intestines, and the tail of a hog. This was what we were given.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we took those old ladies and they went in the kitchen and
made a delicacy out of it.
And called a little bit on the name of Jesus, and now they've made one of the greatest delicacies that's in the market today.
Yeah, but it was poison, though. But it was poison, is what. But they.
You missed something, Robert. You missed what he said.
Yeah, I know what he's saying.
He said they called on the name of Jesus.
Right.
Please don't poison it.
Right.
Clean this up.
And the white man kept the ham and the pork chops, and they get, that's all we had. But see now, but we still eating this junk. See, we still eating this junk, and it's not for survival. This is
You're right. You're right.
Well,
but the point I was making, Elder, is that we have an innovation built in within us, and it's going to take education, communication, and relations. Because when I come up, you couldn't go down the street and break a window in that old house, because Sister Susie gonna get you, Brother Billy gonna get you, ain't Lucille gonna get you, and then when you get home, Mama gonna get you, and then when Daddy get off work, Daddy gonna get you. We turned away from being.
But you made a statement there. Hold one thing. You made a statement there that you're taking for granted that we basically don't have much anymore. You said in your community you didn't go down the street. All right, where is the community now?
Well, the community has scattered because some of us have made a little bit level of class of living, and we forgot to turn around and say, wait a minute, this is how I got out. This is how you can get out. This is how we're gonna rule it. We're gonna rule within our home education. We're gonna rule within our neighbors, and we're gonna teach these things in our church outside of service. And we forgot that we have to pass these revelations on down.
That's right.
Look, let me say this here. You know, when I was growing up, I was a bad little boy. You know, and if we were cussing, and we got close to the church, we stopped cussing. Now, I passed by a church just a couple of days ago,
and you probably
that was barricaded by burglar bars. I mean, you thought this church was a fort. And the air conditioned condensers had burglar bars around it. The front door, all the windows had burglar bars around it. And I'm saying, is this a church? What is the church protecting itself from?
From burglars,
right,
who don't have any respect for the church, will break in it and steal, rob, and do everything. People are robbing churches now. Churches are now having to have posted security guards at churches now. It just shows you how far we've deteriorated because we don't have any respect for anything or anybody anymore, and that is terrible, and we're paying for it in a hard way. But I thank you for your call. All right.
One comment. I really appreciate your time.
All right. Go right ahead.
Now, is white people coming to our community or Hispanic people coming to our community burglarizing our churches and taking our condensers?
They don't have to.
Yeah.
They don't have to.
Okay.
No, because if you deny a man a living, he's gonna really kill, maim, rob right where he lives. Most white Americans that are killed by whom? White Americans.
Right.
Most black Americans that are killed by black Americans, right. Hispanic, whatever group. You kill and rob and maim right where you are. All right, let's go to our phone line. Let's say good morning to line 3. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Great. What's on your mind this morning? Say what? I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, I feel like I heard an echo in the background.
Okay, try it again. You coming through pretty good in my line. All right.
Okay, my statement was, I was listening to Mr. Pitre, and he was talking about how his uncle built a house and other things that happened with his grandfather left his uncle the property. And I think that's what done happened to us is we done forgot how to go back and do what we used to do. You know, my grandmother them stayed down in South Texas, not too far from where you was raised up in, and they picked cotton, and my grandmother never had a job, but they had over 50 acres of land, and you know, they had cattle and chickens, and my uncle, he worked on a job, but he came home and he used those skills on the farm.
Right.
But what we're doing is we're not bringing back to the community what we're taking out of the community.
Right. That's right.
And I mean, if you look at most of your work people now, you talk about the elderly people that's retired, but you got a lot of people that's working and making good money. So what they're doing, they're moving out to these suburbs and moving out of the neighborhoods instead of bringing the property up or trying to upkeep it or bring a level of awareness by calling in the police or the politicians to keep the property and the community ongoing. So we always have fail for the bling bling, you know. Yeah. Our young kids today, they'll let their water get turned off to keep the cell phone bill on. They buying their kids these Nike tennis shoes, and you know they buying stuff that they can't afford to buy, so they'll never have any money to invest in on helping someone else or themselves. You know,
right.
Well, you know,
and they'll pay.
Spend our money trying to look good instead of trying to have something. We'll forever be behind. That's where the education come in.
And they'll pay $12 for a shot of tequila.
Yep.
But who makes the tequila? They make it up. Yeah,
they don't make the tequila. They don't make the tennis shoes.
No, I'm talking about Hispanic people make the tequila. It comes up from Mexico. But they spend money on what they make. Right. We don't make anything. We don't even make toilet tissue.
I'm gonna say this right here. Y'all mentioned the church, and if the preacher, if you respect the preacher, you can respect the church because you're gonna respect God. But as long as the preacher, a lot of preachers, not all of them, a lot of these guys go to school to preach, and they haven't ever been touched, called, or saved by the Lord. To them, it's just a living. And so the church house is full of a bunch of entertainers now. They know how to, they go to school, they know scripture, and they entertain, and they get off into politics and everything, but not having the love of God in their heart. And that's what deteriorates the church, you know. You got stomp dancing in the church, hip-hop music in the church, rappers grabbing their crouches and all that. There's nothing wrong with trying to praise the Lord, but you got to do it in the realm of holiness.
I agree.
Well,
I'm going to let somebody else talk. I'm not going to hog the radio. I'm going to let somebody else talk.
But one thing I wanted to say to you, Ike, I was always against African Americans leaving our community. Why we want to go? We want to go somewhere where it's nice. Notice other people. They develop right where they are. They drop their buckets right where they are. You can take other people. They will build their mansion right. They will change their community instead of imitating their oppressor by moving out from around certain ones. There are things that we can do ourselves, and we've been ballyhooed so many times and hook-winked, and we don't even realize what's happening to us, and we think we're progressing when we're actually going backwards.
Well, Reverend Barnett, a lot of black people that used to pick cotton moved from the country for their own property, sold the property for little or nothing.
Gave it away.
They moved to the city.
Gave it away. I had it happen in my family. I've had a man come in there with a sack load of dollar bills and throw it on the table and say, y'all can have all this money. Just let me have the property. You always had one or two that resisted it and was against it, but you had the majority saying, I need a car and all. Yeah, a lot of stuff. I tell you what, let me take a short break, and next voice you'll be hearing from is going to be Mr. Dockery. He's going to tell you how to pick us up on YouTube, and you can call us at 972-647-1893. We'll be right back.
You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM, the voice of the people in Dallas and Fort Worth, voted best radio station by the Dallas Observer.
After saddling Hostess brands with nearly $1 billion in debt, engaging in years of gross mismanagement, plunging the sugary snack maker into bankruptcy, and eliminating the middle-class jobs of some 18,000 Americans, shouldn't the owners and top executives at least have to say we're sorry and do some sort of penance? Of course they should. But don't hold your breath waiting for common ethics to flower in Hostess headquarters. After all, this is corporate world, a laissez-faire land where failure at the top is not punished but magically rewarded. Thus, the maker of Twinkies, Ho-Hos, Ding Dongs, and Devil Dogs has announced that 19 of the executives who made a mess of Hostess are now to be given $1.8 million in bonuses, on top of sweet pay raises they'd already grabbed. The bonuses were described as incentive pay to keep these geniuses on the job as they oversee the firing of all those workers. However, CEO Gregory Rayburn will not get a bonus, but shed no tears for him since he's currently being paid $125,000 a month to dismantle the corporation. Also, while Lord Gregory has imposed a company-wide pay cut on management employees, he generously exempted himself from the hit. Talk about a devil dog. But wait, there's more. Not satisfied with killing the jobs of 18,000 workers, Hostess honchos also looted money that, by contract, was supposed to go into the workers' pension funds. As the company was sinking toward bankruptcy, the ding-dongs in the executive suite, who, remember, were giving themselves pay raises at the time, were secretly diverting worker pension money into corporate operations in a stopgap ploy to keep Hostess afloat and to disguise their incompetence. This is Jim Hightower saying, forget doing penance. These guys ought to be doing 10 to 20 in prison for grand larceny.
Yo, what's up? I'ma kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like this? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Jacob Pitre is simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying?
This is William Dockery, your videographer for Reverend Barnett here. You can find us on YouTube or find his program on YouTube by either dialing YouTube /Two Hats Publishing in one word, or right from YouTube's search box, just type Two Hats Publishing, one word, or with spaces. I just checked that. They made the correction finally, and we will show up about the second or third page, and then you just find your favorite show to watch. I need to get out of the way because here's Reverend Barnett.
All righty. Welcome back to the second hour in Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, and our special guest this morning is Mr. Robert Pitre, Dallas businessman. A lot of things going on in our city. All righty. Today, born on this day, Dr. Chancellor Williams was born. He was a historian and an author, and the author of the book, Destruction of Black Civilization. Dr. Chancellor Williams was born on this day in 1898, one of our great historians. Great job. Dr. Chancellor Williams. Also, back in 1883, the birth of Arthur Mitchell, one of our great congressmen, our first modern-day congressman, Dr. Arthur Mitchell, was born on this day. We'll have more black facts, but you can call us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. I really want to talk some about the worth of African-American life, black life. here in America, on this planet. And it's just one of those things that really, does it value at all? Does it value? We are all saddened and stricken by what happened there in Newtown, Connecticut. But we have new towns in our cities across America almost daily. The same day that those 20 children were killed there in Newtown, African American, we lost 11 black children in Chicago that same day. Nobody ever notices. Nobody ever say anything. The president's home is Chicago. He never talked about it. He finally mentioned Chicago in a brief statement. But what about all of our children? 183 children killed this year, 2012, in Chicago under the age of 18. What is it about black life? Nobody cares. The media don't care. Seem like our so-called African-American journalists, if the white media is not covering it, they don't cover it. They seem to ignore it. What's going on? Why is it? Do you realize if the number of white children were killing each other across America, what kind of outcry it would be in America about this?
But it's our fault that people are not aware of what's happening in our community. It's a lot of other things that's happening too. I mean, that's awful, you know, blacks killing blacks, you know, but when you look at our community all over America, it's blighted, drug infested. You know, I was telling a friend of mine right now today, if any city with a Martin Luther King Boulevard, that you could get on an airplane and you could go to any city with a Martin Luther, go to the airport, get in call a taxi and tell a taxi to take you to Martin Luther King Street. When you get there, if you want to buy some crack cocaine, it's there. It's there.
We don't supply the crack, but it's there.
We the distributor.
We are street distributors. We're street peddlers. We're like those who push those little ice cream carts around and just street peddlers. We're not real pushers. The real pushers don't live in our community, but there's nobody to challenge the real pushers. You can call us at 972-647-1893, and those who are hanging on the line, I'm going to take your calls. 972-647-1893. But we're not that. Why? What is it? What is it? I was in a particular business establishment the other day, and I was looking at the clothes they were selling. Man, the clothes that they were selling, they're selling to our children and to our women. They look like whore clothes. Oh, yeah. I'll be honest about it. From one end of that building to the other, just look like whore clothes. I mean, it's just
you must have been at that Big T Bazaar.
I ain't called no name. I'm not calling any name, but it looked like whores. You know, I mean,
but the people that was walking around in there, they were dressed they were dressed in those same clothes.
I mean, but you know, just this drives me out of my mind. How far we fallen,
right?
Boy, we used to have the most dignified woman on earth,
right? With tattoos all over their body, with wig, blonde, purple wig. Mm-hmm. Man, I went.
I was there trying to find one of my grandbabies a bicycle. You know,
you was where? You was where?
I ain't gonna say.
I think I've already said it.
I'm not gonna say where I was, but boy, look at here.
Go there today. Go there today.
Huh?
Go there today. Oh man, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your
mind. God have mercy. I've never seen anything like it. It just, I don't know. Let's take some calls. I know. Let's go to line 4, Brother Nick. Alrighty. Brother Nick, thank you for holding for so long. Thank you.
How you doing, Reverend?
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm great.
Yes.
I want to touch on a couple of issues. One, when you were saying we should build up our own community.
Yes.
I'm a young man, and I believe the same thing.
Okay,
if we had stayed in our own community and built up our own community, we could have built houses, trees, the whole 9 yards.
That's right.
We started moving out in the Carter area in the late 70s, early 80s.
Mhm.
Then they had white flights to the suburbs.
Mhm.
But my statement is,
We in the suburbs now.
hate that
Mhm.
when everybody want to be like us.
Right.
If we had to start homegrown, we had morals and values. We don't lost. There's so many issues we got to get back focused on. We need to stop talking about it and start back being about it the way we was in the 60s and 70s.
Well, Brother Ike, let me ask you something. What if we had stayed here in the city limits of Dallas, built our nice homes here in the city limits of Dallas? Today, 2012, who would be running this multi-trillion-dollar corporation called Dallas? Who would be running it?
Well, but let me just say this here, Red. But if we'd have kept the crack cocaine and heroin out of our community, then we'd have been in
That's
a powerful
all
position.
a part of stability, because if you build your big nice house right here in the city, and if you and your buddies out there had to be out there with shotguns, you wasn't gonna allow that stuff to be proliferated throughout our community like it's done. It's done because nobody cares. Those who really had the fortitude to do things like that moved away, and by us dividing ourselves, have really, really hurt us. We go from one bad thing to another bad thing to another bad thing. We keep making the same mistakes generation after generation after generation until we learn there is no escape from our unity for us to move forward. There will be no escape. You're going to have to be with your brother, depend on your brother, and you and your brother will have to work together, whether you like him or not.
Well, it's time for us to make that change. Just like your song.
Yeah, well, why you think I
Time to
played
make
that
that
song?
change.
I played that song for 27
It's time
years.
for us to make that change.
Yeah.
We have to deal with these problems that affect us as a people right now, today. This is the preachers, the teachers, the business people, people in the community, the people that selling dope need to stop poisoning our people. We need to make a difference today, right now. We need to start today. And Rev, this is what you and I have been working on for years to make the difference today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in these banks that's in your community, cashing checks, you need to protest them, picket these banks, make these banks loan money in your community, and all this stuff about.
So in other words, most of our people work an hour a week just for that bank.
Right.
When they go get it, it could be up to $10.
They charge $10 if you want a cashier's check. $10. I mean, they robbing.
So they work an hour a week for that bank.
Right. And if the check is $40 and somebody writes you a $40 check, and when you go to cash that check at that bank, in the bank ask you, the first question they're gonna ask, do you have an account here? And when you say no, they're gonna take $5 to $10 of your hard money.
So we're hustling for banks.
Right.
All right, okay.
Right. They just cash and check. Run them out your community. See, and I hear well, go start your own bank. These banks are regulated by the federal government. These banks are not just for white people. These banks is regulated for all people, but we have accepted not being able to go in these banks and borrow money.
Yeah.
And then when they tell you about your credit situation, it ain't about that collateral and credit. You could have good credit, you could have good collateral. Them folks still are not going to loan a black businessman no money in Dallas, Texas.
All right. Thank you for your call.
I've experienced that.
Yeah.
What I was saying, we was fighting over this stuff. We need to start meeting up and not have this million man march stuff that didn't really go nowhere, and really start being about what are we talking about, guys that's really interested.
Nick, Nick, how old are you?
I'm 54.
Oh yeah. You getting into the age.
I've seen a lot of changes, and I've always been real observant through my young years. And the other issue I was going to bring up was I don't know the gentleman's name. He was talking about how great respect he had for the Hispanic. I have respect for him, but a lot of the things that they're taking advantage of came in on our coattail on things that we suffered and sacrificed. This stuff wasn't given to us.
Right. No.
And they had the same opportunity to fight back in Mexico, same oppression things that we was going through. I've talked to several Hispanic people that was living here, and I asked them, were they on the picket line? And they gave me
a definite ATL no, you know, because they understood how serious it was back in those days. These guys are like in their 60s or what have you. So there's a lot of things that we done we don't get respect for, but we start to put one another down. We need to stop putting each other down on the media and to one another. Start talking to young men positive and tell them what they don't have to do this, they don't have to do that.
That's why I'm calling for the older fellas, older men, older women. Let's go back and deal with our youth and teach them some of these things that we've learned over the years. All right. Thank you. All right, the clears the line, 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line one and say good morning to Billy, all righty? Good morning, Billy. Billy, are you there? All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line three and say good morning to Willie, all righty? Good morning, Willie.
Yeah, how you doing there, Reverend Dr. Barnett?
Fine, how are you, Willie?
Reverend Robert Pitre.
Say who? Say who?
And I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Well, you're supposed to get some feedback. You call me Reverend.
Feedback, you might get a bit.
Oh, I thought you said Reverend.
No, I ain't calling you.
Oh, well, good. Okay, now. I thought that's why you were getting the feedback.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the conversation this morning. And you may not believe it, Reverend Barnett. I'm a 69-year-old man, and I used to pick cotton. My home is in Garland, Texas.
All right.
I pick cotton in Garland, Raleigh, Plano, and all of those areas.
I remember when cotton fields was right across from Hamilton Park back in those days, back in the 50s.
Right.
Yeah, I remember cotton fields was right over there. What do they call that area? Vickery and all over there. Those were cotton fields. Some parts of where T.I. is sitting right now, all of those were cotton fields. Carew Farm over there right across from where North Park was, those were cotton fields. I can remember that. Like,
so what age did you start picking cotton?
Well, I first got my experience when I was about 5 or 6 years old. My mom used to drag me on the tail end of that
sack.
Cotton sack.
Yep.
Until I got up to where I could help put cotton in it, we made a croaker sack.
Right. So you learn how to work. Now, I'm meeting young men, black men, 20 years old, that never had a job. 20 years old, never had a job. Don't know how to work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, now, a lot of that was political.
Right.
All righty then. Thank you for your call. A lot of that was political. You remember when George Bush, they passed that particular law that states that elderly people could get paid the same amount that the youth could get paid. See, young people used to have jobs, but they switched that over and started hiring adults instead of young people. So adults many of them have the same job. Not that they don't need them. That the youth used to, once had.
Right. You know, when I was 13 years old, I was a subcontractor for Gulf Oil Company. When I was 13 years old.
What would you do?
I'd go out every Saturday and wash the tanker trucks. And I'd put them in one gear and pull them up close to the rack, get me a big old push broom and scrub them down. And I washed 3 tanker trucks every Saturday for Gulf Oil Company. And then when I left there, I went to Mr. Tom's service station and pumped gas all day. He bought my lunch. At the end of the day, he gave me $10. Now, Gulf Oil Company...
that was a lot of money back in those days.
And Gulf Oil Company paid him $25 per truck. But he gave me $10. But when I got home, I gave my mother $5, and I kept $5. I had more money than any of the kids in the project.
Well, I mean, at the same time, you had an industrious attitude.
And I learned how to work. The key is, and when I go to schools and I talk to young people and I tell them that story, the first thing they say, well, Mr. Tom made $75 and he worked you all day and all he gave you was $10. $10.
See, but at the same time, you had 10 more than they had.
I had $10. I ended up with $10 and I learned how to work.
Yeah, but at the same time, in this day and time, we can be subcontractors and contractors. We have to fight for it. We have to get out there for it. There are a lot of companies, they are discriminating even at this time, but we have got to get out there and quit going through the back door. We still going through the back door. It used to be you had to go to the back door of white folks' house and restaurants and everything, but where the money is, we still go through the back door. When are we going to stand up and realize our tax dollars built the house too, so we should be able to go through the front door? I'm up against a short break, but you can call me at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
If it's time to get rid of your old gas guzzler, the KNON Vehicle Donation Program can help. There's still a market for those old vehicles, and if you donate it, you're helping to support quality programming here on KNON. Just call 877-KNON-AUTO or go online to KNON.org. We'll take care of everything from pickup to tax paperwork. That's 877-KNON-AUTO or online at KNON.org.
Don't be a Scrooge. Give the blues to the music lover on your list.
KNON has the perfect CD or LP for you. Texas Blues Radio, Volume 5.
Texas Blues Radio, Volume 5 features acoustic blues, instrumental blues, party songs, somebody done somebody wrong songs.
Baby Got a Good Thing songs, six-pack and devilback songs.
Gumbo, jive, T-bone, and hip-shaking songs from a fine selection of great Texas blues artists.
So do right by the blues and give some Texas blues this year.
Texas Blues Radio, Volume 5 CD is available at KNON.org, Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music.
Download a copy at cdbaby.com.
The LP is only available at Forever Young Records.
All proceeds are a gift to KNON.
All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. All right, those who are calling on the line, just hang on the lines. We'll get you and we'll come to you in just a second. And but it's just so much. It's so much frustration going on when you see a community of gifted, talented people don't use their gifts and don't use what they have going on that God has given them. It's a sad situation. It's sad when we sometimes just don't have what, the fortitude, the intestinal fortitude to really go forward, And I guess you can be discouraged so long that you give up, you don't try. Have we been discouraged and locked out for so long that many of our youth have given up?
Right. Well, many of the adults, and I mean, it's a fight, Rev. I mean, just in my position and the things that I've been able to accomplish, it's been a fight. I mean, it's still a fight. When you start a business with $3 $100 bills and you're still in business 41 years later, they still telling you that you really don't qualify. You have more than enough collateral. You have good credit, but your debt income ratio is 1.24 when it needs to be 1.25 or above. They have 1,000 reasons to say no to you, and when collateral matters, they tell you it doesn't matter. When credit matters, they tell you it doesn't matter. We got something else to disqualify you. Mm-hmm. So,
they're looking for reasons.
Right. I was telling a friend of mine, telling a group in the barbershop, if I cannot, as a successful businessman in Dallas, Texas, cannot go to the banks and borrow money, you can't either. No black. I remember Coma Cottrell and I were just talking just the other day, and we had an opportunity probably about 15 years ago to buy the shopping center in front of Big T Bazaar. It was 16 spaces for like $137,000, and it was on the tax roll for $880,000. And Proline made $40 million that year, and it was my best year in business. Now, We went to 2 banks. Now, Mr. Cottrell,
you in coma couldn't pull this out.
We couldn't pull it out.
With all that y'all had, you couldn't pull it out.
The banks wouldn't loan us no more.
My God, my God.
And see,
when will we find anybody? I've addressed
but I mean, but
we picketed banks. We've done everything, but you have to have somebody, along with the federal government, that really that pulls that they gotta push. Everybody in America seem to be scared of these banksters.
Right.
Everybody.
Right.
Look like from the White House down, they scared of these banksters. Right. Are these banks? Are the people? These banksters are the ones who really run America. Because, hey, that's where all the money, everything, the seed of all progress comes through them. They mess up everything, then they take our money and give it to them, and then they will not turn around and lend our money back to us.
Right, and that's what one of my biggest problems with the churches. I mean, they taking up all this money on Sunday in the name of God. They take it in the name of God. And Monday they take it to the bank. And then the bank take it and loan it to white people to develop their community. You're going to have to
come to my church in the morning. I'm going to have to pray for you.
Help me.
I'm going to have to put you on the altar, boy. You're really cutting these churches up this morning.
No, I'm not, Rev. I'm just telling the truth.
I'm going to have to pray for you now.
They'll have some of the preachers to call back in and tell me where I'm wrong.
No. All right, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. All right, I don't know where to start. Let's just start from 1 and go all the way across. All right. Let's say good morning to Ron. All righty. Good morning, Ron.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing this morning?
Fine. You doing all right?
Yeah, so I give all honor to God this morning before we start this thing. But I called to let our people out there know that we need to educate ourselves to really what's going on around us. Mm-hmm. Because we can't only just blame the white people for making it hard for us. We have to also blame African Americans that had been put in or placed in certain positions that hadn't did their part, which in turn makes it double hard for us to achieve anything. Unless a person has really been into the fight, they wouldn't understand what I'm saying to see the role that these, they're called Uncle Toms and everything else to play in this journey.
Who are some of the people, Ron, that you think that's deceiving us as leaders?
Okay, can you repeat that, Reverend?
Who are some of the people that you think that is deceiving us, some of the leaders that's deceiving us as a people?
Well, I'd have to go pull out my list, but I can tell you, even during the presidential election, the Republican Party will go select a black man or a black female, don't really matter, to put up a front, to throw off black votes for their purpose, and that's what they do. And this is just one of the.
So who are some of the local people that you see that's doing that too?
Well, you have to ask the question. You look at, I'm not going to get into any names this morning at this time, but I would do it at a later date. But you have to look at the positions that they are in. And, the people, the average public citizen really just see what the news put out there and what has that person that came before them has said. But they don't know there is some backdoor stuff going on, which is a
Are this city council or is it what are they politicians or they? You don't have to call their name, but they on the city council or?
Yes, sir. They're all over. Believe me, they are. And like I said, it's frustrating, to see them sit out and come before the black people in their community at the churches or whatever the opportunity they may have. And they're basically sitting up there putting up a front line to the folks, but the people really need to get in behind the scenes and listen to the radio talk shows and really take in consideration what's being said.
Right. But what frustrates me is that we don't call these people out. We don't.
I know. I know. And I can, like I said, at this time, I just can't do it. I'll have to do it at a later date, and I'll remind you that I said I would, okay?
Well, don't lose your job then. Don't lose your job.
Well, there's, like I said, I'll have to do it at a later date, and I'll remind you.
All right.
Don't worry, they can't recognize your voice. We got a lot of static.
Well, he gave his name, though. He gave his name, and they know it.
Well,
right.
We don't want to get you in no trouble. We don't want to get you in no trouble.
Let me say this. I'm not afraid because, I'm a Christian man. I believe in God. Faith overrides fear any day. Okay. So I do not ride on fear, but strategy-wise, I have to do this, okay?
All right, brother.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Right. Okay, all right. You got any names? You're putting that man out there.
Well, we hadn't talked to a lady. I see you have Kathy Holding.
Huh?
I see you.
Kathy? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that. Yeah. Let's see what Kathy has to say this morning. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Reverend Arnett. This is the first time
could you hold 1 second, Kathy?
Sure.
Clint, is there any? Can we clear this? Because man, we getting a buzzing this time. Is it what?
A radio?
Your radio on, Kathy?
Hold on one.
Okay. Yeah, it's clear now. Are you there? Hello, Kathy? I don't know. Put her back on hold.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a whole lot better.
Well, I want to thank you this morning for taking my call. And I did tune in late, so I don't know who your guest is.
Mr. Robert Pitre.
Mr. Pitre, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm calling because I want to discuss my experience with my daughter when she was in school. I can't speak for no one else, but I was a single parent, divorced, and I was very attentive to her because it was just us. And so, referring to her school, she was in 5th grade. And I noticed how she was coming home and she didn't know how to do any of her homework. So we was up to like 2 and 3 a.m. every morning I'm trying to help her understand her homework. And so I would send her off to school. And I know that the teacher started sending zeros home. And my daughter never made zeros. She was a straight AB student. And so I went up to the school to find out what was going on, and the teacher would never be straight with me, about what's going on. So I started questioning my daughter, and I said, "Well, does the teacher ever go over your homework?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, why would they assign you homework and not explain how to do it?" And she said she didn't know. Now, this is a 5th grader. She's only 5th grade. This was the first time my child experienced racism. And I asked her, I said, "Well, what about the other kids in your class? How are they knowing how to do their homework?" She said she calls them up to the table. I said, "Wait, she doesn't teach off the board." She said, "No."
Was she doing this individually off the table?
Individually.
Oh.
So what did the principal say? What did the principal say? What did the principal say?
Wait, I hadn't that. I'll do that. Well, I found out that she was calling her daughter's tape. That's when I went to the principal. I told the principal everything was going on in that class. I told her she was...
I'll tell you what, Kathy.
Yes.
Could you hang up and call us back? This connection is just awful. I can't. You're cutting out. I can't understand anything you're saying.
Okay.
Could you call us? Make sure you call us right back. Okay.
All right.
Just keep trying until you get back in. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. That clears the line. 972-647-1893.
Reverend Barnett.
Yeah.
The station was hit by lightning during the storm the other day, and I believe it's messing with the equipment a little bit. The only thing I can do right now is try to reset the phones, but if we do that, we'll lose all the callers.
All right, we'll try to push through it. We'll try to push through it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, just cut it out so she can get back in. See if she can get back in. All right, 972-647-1893 if she forgot the number. Let's go to Cynthia on line 1. All right. All right, good morning, Cynthia.
Hi.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hear you fine. Go right ahead.
Okay. Hi. Good morning. I would just say this nation as a whole. Hi.
What did you say?
I hear you. It's kind of cutting up.
But
it's kind of cutting up.
Just go ahead and speak. You coming through. You one of the few that's coming through. All right, come on. Go right ahead, Cynthia. Listen to me. Don't listen to your radio. We have a delay on.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Okay, well, this nation as a whole needs to seek God first and just turn back to God. And that's all we need to do. That goes from our leadership, from the White House. Like, for instance, the Bible speaks against fornication, which is immoral intimacy. And so we just need to, as a whole, need to turn back to God, and He will help. He said, I'll make you head and not the tail. So, God is still the answer to all our problems.
Okay, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Cynthia, but one thing, let's get something straightened out. America never was a Christian nation, and it was not found by Christians. The founding fathers, for the most part, most of them were deists. They were not Christians. We tell that. It was not founded on Christian principles. How can you find something on Christian principles when you have a large segment of your population is not even considered human? There was only 3/5 human. There are so many fallacies about America that we need to stop these fantasies about America. And then you say turn back to God. No, we need to turn to God. Real Christianity, because many of those white conservative Christians, they have been racist. They are still basically trying to oppress and depress and economically downtrodden groups of people. We need to turn to God and quit playing with God. Now, America's good at playing with God. We go to church, we play with Him. And then once we leave church, we leave out of there with the same old hatred and vicious anger toward one another. So we need to quit playing with God and turn to God, not back to God, because if we ever was a part of God, really had Him in our heart, we would not do many of the things that we do. And I agree with you about other things that you said. I agree. But there's other things that we really need to do, and that's quit playing with God. All right? All right, thank you. That clears the line, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Randy. All righty, good morning, Randy.
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Pitre been in business for 40-something years, and Robert Pitre got where he is by being positive. Robert Pitre had a lot of struggles in front of his life and a lot of things he had to somehow work around that he couldn't go through, but he is successful because he's positive. Now, Robert Pitre, I hear all the time about how he can't borrow no money in Dallas. Well, I think after 40 years, Robert, you probably figured that out, and you need to go to Atlanta, where they have black-owned banks, Chicago, maybe St. Louis, or even better yet, maybe you and Brother Barnett, my beloved pastor, need to start a bank here in Dallas.
No, we're going to pick at some
I'm
banks.
almost finished. That can micro loan, starting out maybe $100 or $150 to a person you can trust that can start a lawn business or a trash business or a delivery business of groceries or something. And you know what? Probably in 15 years, Robert Pitre will be the one that owns the black-owned bank in Dallas. Robert, go positive. And quit talking about these people that are in your way. There's a lot of positive people looking at you. Wake up in the morning and focus back on what got you to where you're at. Positive.
Look here, I enjoyed the little saying that you said that was positive. But see, Randy, you don't know what blacks are going through. You probably experienced very little racism because you white.
Robert,
you don't know. Look here, when you try to lead me and other blacks to a black bank, those banks downtown, they are loaning money to white people. They are not white banks. They are regulated by the federal government. Those banks should loan money to all nationalities of people that qualify.
I understand that, Robert.
Don't tell me that. But but don't give me no directions. Don't give me no directions. You take your own directions. I know what I'm doing. You don't. It hadn't affected me. I'm gonna fight to the end. See,
but what I'm trying to say, Robert, is you're trying to tell me that I haven't been oppressed because I'm white. I'm a long-haired hippie. I've been to jail probably more times than you have.
They probably took you to jail for something you done. Yeah. You know, you always talking about you like to smoke dope. They probably took you to jail because they caught you with some dope.
You're right, Robert.
Right.
But for 5,000 years, it was legal until a person decided that they economically wanted to hold another group down.
Well,
it was all about economics, not about doing the right thing.
But it's illegal, and the police catch you with some dope, they supposed to take you to jail.
But, Robert, it was also illegal for a slave to run away from his master one time, was it right?
Right. Well, and slaves should continue to run. If you want to smoke dope, just keep smoking dope.
Robert, please get positive, dude.
Right.
I want to see you be the first black banker that loans to the community.
I don't want to be no banker. I want banks to loan money to businesses.
Well,
black businesses, just like they loan money to white businesses, I want them to loan money.
Well, I want
and
that
it shouldn't depend on what color your skin is. It should be your qualifications.
But Robert, you know how racist America is, and you're going to die with a racist America, and so am I.
Well, I'm gonna die fighting.
Great. Right. So am I. Great show, brother.
All right. Thank you. I love the dialogue.
And Randy, you know,
my friend in my church, remember me? Y'all going
at it. No, we all right. But look here, Randy.
I'm cracking up.
Randy, you know they legalized dope in Denver, in Colorado, in Seattle. Go to those places and smoke dope. That's where you need to move. Move to those places, and you can just smoke dope in the street.
He likes marijuana, and he wants to see it.
Well, okay, but don't let him.
Eventually, he's gonna get it. Though he'll get it.
Well, don't let him put none of that crack in that weed.
All right, I tell you what, we way past our break time. We're up against a short break. Call us at 972-647-1893. I'll be back in just a moment.
Human Services Commission is committed to helping Texas citizens connect with the services they need. Whether by phone or internet, our goal is to present accurate, well-organized, and easy-to-find information from over 60,000 state and local health and human services programs. We have programs ranging from child care to GED instruction, from dental care to food pantries to public utility services. Contact 211 at 211texas.org or dial 211 to connect with the resources you need. If dialing 211 directly doesn't work on your telephone, you can call 877-541-7905 for 211 Texas. Don't let your family go without the help they need.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, and you can reach us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Did Kathy get back in? Yeah. All right, let's see, can we get a better line for her this time? Boy, it's something there. Good morning, Kathy. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go right ahead. All right.
I'm sorry it's taken so long. I'm trying to make it briefer. But we ended with the principal. I did set an office with the principal, and I explained to her what was going on. And I literally told her, this is the year 2000. I will not put up with racism.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her if she could not control her teachers, because it's her responsibility,
right,
I will get an attorney and I will sue the district.
Mm-hmm.
we had a teacher-principal meeting. And come to find out, that teacher literally, is not knowing what she was doing, admitted that she trashed my daughter's homework. That's why she was getting 0. And I looked at the principal, and the principal looked at her so crazy. And she said by the time my daughter turned in her homework, that she had already recorded the grades in the book. Now, how stupid was that? She allowed the students to stay after school to turn in their homework if they needed to. And my daughter stayed after school sometimes and did that, but she was not recording the grade. She was putting zeros on there.
Is the teacher, the same teacher, still teaching your daughter?
Oh, gosh, no. Okay. This was in 2000.
Oh, that's been 12 years ago. Okay. Your daughter's grown now.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason.
Okay, what school district was this?
This was in the Richardson School District.
Richardson. Wow, and that school district has had African Americans in the district, well, per se, since the 50s, when Hamilton Park, it was a part of Richardson Independent School District.
Right.
What happened to the teacher?
Well, what happened during the meeting? I looked at the principal. I didn't have nothing to do with the teacher anymore. I looked at the principal and I told her I don't want to see another 0 come to my house.
Did she fire the teacher? Was the teacher fired?
Yeah, the teacher wasn't fired. She was there, but I never received another 0. And my daughter got out of that school with, the teacher refused to give her an A. She was docking points, but she got a B out of her class. And I transferred her out of that school into another one.
Well, see, we do too much of that, and I'm glad your daughter got a better grade. But that teacher should not be allowed to push that on to other children. I'm sure your child was not the only child she did that to. I'm sure other children came along, and that happened to them. I wish you had a push forward to really get that teacher out of that school. And, you know, sometimes we give up just a little bit too soon. I'm glad your child is doing well. How is she doing now?
Well, now she's ill, but we made it through high school, and she made it through college her second semester, but she became ill, so we're a lot better. But just one little point I wanted to make for bringing up that scenario. When she made it to high school, one of her friends, it was a young man, told her that he had this teacher that was constantly docking his grade. He was very smart. She told me he was extremely smart. And the teacher was constantly giving him, you know, docking his grades, just wouldn't give him 100. And he told my daughter that he didn't care no more. He wasn't going to try. He done gave up.
He gave up.
So he threw in the tap. He didn't have nobody to speak up for him.
Right.
And he just brought up.
Too bad he didn't have a mother like you that would really go to battle for your child. And I'm very proud of what you did. But I wish it had been just a little bit farther pushed to get that teacher out of that school. Thank you for your call. Yes, Thank you. We get all of our lines full. Thank you. All right, that clears the line. 972-647-1893. Is that Noel on line 2? I've been seeing that. I'm not sure. Let's see if Noel is on that line. It's been there over almost an hour. And Noel?
Yes, Barnett.
Yes, go right ahead.
How you and Robert doing?
Fine. You doing all right?
I got a little chastisement for you today.
Yeah, what's going on?
You know, who screened your call?
We have screeners up here.
Well, what happened was I called and I told him I needed to talk because we giving away toys over here this morning.
You giving away what toys?
We're giving away toys this morning on the Blue Palace. And I told them I needed to talk to you, and they just put me on hold. I've been on hold for 45 minutes.
All right, now, where are you giving the toys away?
They're at Blues Palace.
Blues
Palace.
All right, RL's Blues Palace?
Right. We're going to start here in about 30 minutes.
So I'd say about 9:30, you're going to start giving away toys at RL's Blues Palace. What's the address?
and Blues Palace and 2 Partners.
Blues Palace and 2 Partners. You're giving away toys. 2 Partners is over there on 2nd Avenue. And RL's is right there at Grand and, what is that?
Meadow.
Meadow. Grand and Meadow. You're giving away toys. Now, do they have to have any ID or anything? What's the qualifications for a child to receive toys?
Just have your kids with you.
It has to be an adult with the children, right?
Right.
Over at RL's Blues Palace this morning, we'll say you kick off around 9:30. They're giving away toys. Everybody, y'all listen to me. Go over to RL's or go around to 2 Partners. That's over there on 2nd Avenue, not far, right around the corner there, a couple of blocks or so. And they're giving away toys. If you don't have any toys for your children, go over to RL's Blues Palace at Grand and Meadow and either go around to 2 Partners there on 2nd Avenue. They're giving away toys. I'm sure glad we got you in this morning. Sure glad. Thank you. That's a great job y'all doing, Noel. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Reverend Barnett.
Yes,
Make sure that they're not giving it away to 2 Partners. 2 Partners just sponsoring it.
Oh, 2 Partners is sponsoring it. All right, let me reverse that. They're not giving away toys at 2 Partners. Just go to Grand and Meadow at RL's Blues Palace and get your kids some toys. You got to go with them. You got to be there with your children. They are not asking. You're not asking for ID, are you?
No.
Okay, just show up and get some toys for your children at Grand and Meadow at RL's Blues Palace.
That's across the street from the post office. Cross directly.
Right. Yeah.
Greg Smith is sponsoring it.
Greg Smith? Okay.
Yeah, he'll be here with Santa Claus.
All right. Greg Smith. All right here on KNON. On Fridays, we have Greg Smith. He'll be giving away toys. So St. Nick will be there. Thank you. Thank you for that announcement. All righty. Where are we? Let's go to Miss Kleberg. All righty. That's line 3. Yeah, line 3. Good morning, Miss Kleberg.
Good morning, Pastor. How are you?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
I'm doing pretty good.
Great,
Thank you.
Great.
Do you hear a lot of feedback? Because I'm hearing feedback.
No, you're coming through. I hear a little bit, but you're coming through a lot better than a lot of calls we've had this morning. Just come on.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you said that I can't understand, so I'm going to hang up, Pastor, and I'll call back next week. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'll just call back next week.
Okay, all right. Okay, you're coming through clearer than most. Okay. All right, thank you for your call. All right, let's go to James on line 1. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Barnett. We're doing fine here in Palestine this morning.
All righty, y'all doing well down in Palestine.
Yes, sir. We still have this Confederate flag fog thing here, but let me move past that. I mentioned sometime back on the program of pastors having bargaining power when they go down on Mondays with those Monday deposits at these banks and savings and loans, and they should negotiate with that, because the members and the pastor and anyone in the community that attend that church should be able to some loans and borrow money on that money there. So that should be used as bargaining power, and the law would allow that for us, especially when he went in and cleaned the temple, when there were people in the temple. But these temples are churches, not churches, but businesses and things. Let me move past that.
But now we got to elaborate a little bit on that, because when you study history, and I'm a historian, I find that African Americans, we're the only people in history that finance our own oppression. We actually finance our oppression. We develop other communities. Everyone else get a chance to have a big party with our money, except for us. We don't turn it over in our community. We take it to places where they're not going to send it back to our community.
That's correct.
It's just a vicious cycle. We like a water spout or something. We just shooting it out there and don't get it back.
But the money is taken up. The money is taken up in the name of God, and when we take it to the bank, we get a deposit slip, and then the money is distributed in other communities and not in our community. So
let me say this, Reverend, before time run out. If we would educate our families, the SCLC, Dr. King is coming up in January, but if we would get our young people to get on the student councils at the school, get on local government, city council, get on the commissioner courts, and get involved in local government and get started early, we will become productive citizens, and our eyes and ears will be open to all these avenues that Reverend Wright, what he's doing, and over at R.F. Griffin, those people over there. It should be a list over there, the names of all those people, and get them involved to not only take a hand in, but also volunteer and help out to get out on the streets of Dallas and throughout the United States and get involved, and we can help erase these, and especially get those mega preachers like Joel Osteen and T.D. Jakes, get them involved instead of let them sit back on all that money. Hold them accountable. I appreciate your sacrifice,
but James,
Wright and Dr. Barnett.
Yeah, but James, let me tell you something about Martin Luther King Day. Let me tell you what's going to happen on Martin Luther King Day. I can tell you right now. I don't have to wait. It's going to be a behind-shaking contest up and down the streets of America. Everybody going to see who can gyrate the most and get the most vulgar in the middle of the streets of America. The Martin Luther King Day celebrations have turned into nothing but a joke. Dr. King would roll over in his grave if he used to wake and see what our young people and what our old people are allowing them to do in the name of celebrating Dr. King. So that day is a disgrace. Until we can turn this thing around and start teaching our children to learn something about Dr. King. He was more than just a dreamer. They sanitized him, and during his lifetime, he was hated by white America and feared by black America. Until we tell the truth about Dr. King, we're getting nowhere with that holiday, and we're messing it up. All right.
Dr. King said the ultimate measure of a man is not where he spent in times of comfort and convenience, but in times of challenges and controversy. Thank you, Doc.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Barnett.
All right, that clears the line. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to John on line 2. All righty. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Pastor Barnett and Mr. Pitre. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was just listening to the conversation, and I'm in the senior citizen group at this time. And I tell you what, I think the thing that hurt us the most is when they put segregation in the schools and the welfare. Those two things really hurt us because we stopped doing the things that we knew how to do and just started relying on the government. And I think we did a real disservice because our teachers would teach us different things. They would encourage us to go to college even if we were C students. So we're missing out on that, and I'm going to hang up and just listen.
I tell you what, you're so right. We used to have teachers that really cared, not that was just there to draw a check. Now we get some of the youngest teachers in there that's really inexperienced. They don't tell a real story about education, why our children do so poorly. Your more experienced teachers goes to other places, into different parts of the school district to make sure other kids learn, and our great teachers are not teaching our kids anymore. But I tell you what, we're out of time. Thank all of you for calling. Thank all of you for listening. Thank you for coming, Mr. Pitre. You have a final word?
Well, Reverend, I enjoyed your show, and I hope your listening audience enjoyed what we said. I think that everything that you and I said to them has been from our hearts and very true, and I think that it's time to make a difference in your community. Just go out and help somebody, a senior citizen, a youth, and share some knowledge. See, our problem right now is that we don't get the proper knowledge to advance in life. We don't make the sacrifices that it's going to take. So, and then we must have discipline.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And senior citizens, you need to help us because you have the skills and the money and the expertise. Got to get out and run. I'm the senior pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. We're located at Bruton and Masters here in the city of Dallas. And service again at 11 o'clock.
You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas, the voice of the people, voted best radio station for music 2 years in a row by the Dallas Observer.
Did you know that KNON podcasts all of its local talk shows? KNON has Local Talk, each show covering your community in its own unique way. So if you missed one of our great morning talk shows, you can go back and listen to it online. We keep the shows for 2 months so you can hear everything you have been missing out on. Visit KNON.org for more information about the KNON Morning Talk Shows podcast. Also available on iTunes.